my friends, I am Diana and I am Scrappy Warrior Woman. Okay, on today's video, I am going to be sharing with you some hacks, some crochet hacks that I use quite often. So you may notice that my background is a little different than normal. I'm doing that because the air conditioning units are really loud in my house, and this is the time that I have to record. Hack number one. Have you ever had where you're crocheting and your magic ring looks more like a cone instead of flat like this? I'm going to demonstrate how you can get from this look to this look. What you're going to do, it's a super simple hack. You, instead of starting, so this is a 6, 12, 18 because my base was 6. So what you're gonna do is start with the second line of your pattern. So this one I started with a 12, and then the next row I did 12 again, and then the next row I did 18. Super simple. And I am going to continue crocheting on with this one. Hack number 2. I am going to demonstrate the magic ring. Now, I have other videos on how to do a magic ring, and they work really well with acrylic yarn. Now, when you're working with chenille yarn, it makes it really hard sometimes to do a magic ring. All right, so if you work with chenille yarn, magic rings can sometimes be difficult. So what I like to do is start, so if your base chain is 6, we will start with half that. So 1, and crochet loosely, 2, 3, because what you don't want is the fibers grabbing each other. So then we're going to pull our loop closed small, and then we're going to continue on loosely crocheting 1, 2, 3, and then we will close the circle all the way, and there you go, there's your magic ring. Hack number 3. You've probably heard of stitch markers. These are amazing, because what these do is that they hold your spot when you're crocheting. It also helps you figure out what your count is. You can count from your stitches. Now I'm going to demonstrate a few hacks that I use. I bought a bunch of stitch markers. I bought like 100 or something like that, and I lose them like all the time. So these following items can help you if you do not have stitch markers. Talking about stitch marker alternatives. I don't have bobby pins, but you could use bobby pins, twist ties, paper clips. So you just take it in the loop right here. If you had paper clips, and just like that. And there's an option. So safety pins work really well. Just go in there just like a regular stitch marker, and it saves your spot, which is happy. If you've ever had anything pulled out, it's a sad day. So you have your regular stitch markers that look just like a safety pin. Then you could use floss, and you could also use earrings. But the one thing that I have found that really that you could use is a scrap piece of yarn, which you just stick it through here. And you can just pull it down, cinch it down, and that will hold your spot as well. So one of the things that I really like to use for a stitch marker, because it holds your work in place, but it also helps that you can remember to count your crochet. So I'm just going to demonstrate what I do when I use a scrap piece of yarn. So I just slide it in next to my stitch like this, and then I just crochet over the top of it like this. And then I know, okay, this stitch is stitch number 1. And if I lose track, I can just go back to this instead of having to frog the whole thing. So there you go. There's another hack. Hack number 4 actually is weaving in your ends. Okay, normally is in that first stitch. Don't fasten off in that stitch. Fasten off in the second stitch like this. Pull it through like this, and then weave it back through the first one, and weave it back through, and there you go. All done. Okay, tip number 5 has to do with being meticulous with your count. It's really important to stay on your count, or your amigurumi is going to take a weird shape, or like me, that I've had happen. If you want to see my mistake, that is in a video that I have made about things that I've made and what I've learned from them. There's a video about that, and I'll link that below. But if you get off count with your blanket, it can go ski-wonkus. So be meticulous about your count. And if I usually give it 2 times before I frog it. And if you've ever had to frog anything, it makes your heart hurt a little bit. And it's really hard when you are frogging with chenille yarn, because that not only makes a mess, but it also kind of ruins your yarn sometimes, and then you can't use it. Okay, so tip number 6 has to do with your hands. Now, we love to crochet, and sometimes we like to crochet for a really long time without taking breaks. It's really, really important that you take breaks, that you massage your hand. I will massage my hands like this, okay? I will roll my wrists like this. I will also stretch them gently like this and like this. And sometimes I just walk around my house. My floor plan is where I can walk in kind of a circle. So I'll give myself like 5 laps, and I'll just kind of relax and massage my hands and stretch them just like that. So remember to give yourself a break. And sometimes we tend to crochet like this. Just relax, stretch everything out, and then you can get back to it. Okay, tip number 8. If you've ever crocheted with fuzzy yarn, it can be kind of a pain in the behind, let's be honest. I have found that if you have a fine crochet yarn like this, or even fuzzy yarn that is fuzzier than this, it's really amazing if you use a regular acrylic yarn or this. Crochet them together, it helps. And I have made a bunny on the screen. I crocheted with this very yarn that I'm talking about, and I used acrylic yarn. It had a little bit of glitter to it, and then I brushed it, and I used that technique. Fuzzy yarn is a difficult yarn to work with, as you can't see your stitches, so you have to feel your stitches. But when you have this other yarn with it, the base makes it so you can crochet your projects. First off, I want to say, stay tuned for the bloopers. I have quite a few. I hope that you found today's video helpful and that you learned some new hacks, tricks, tips. If you like today's content, please consider liking and subscribing. Happy crocheting. Project. Hello, my friends. I'm Diana, and I started this. I hope I'm counting these right, because I've already lost track of what I'm doing. The second take of this video, because I was filming it incorrectly. So there is what I'm talking about. And that's lame. By liking.